My name is Kenny K. Royal.
And I'm Eartha Kid.
Are you
Santa baby.
My mind didn't even go there. My mind went to Catwoman, and I was trying to think of one of her lines when she's on that.
I can't purr, so no.
Tell me one of her lines so I can say it.
From the show?
From the movie. Or was it the show? Or was it the movie that Eartha Kid was in?
She was in the show.
What?
With Adam West.
Yeah. The worst Batman. I was like, who the fuck hired him?
I feel like.
But at the time, they were campy.
He fit the time. Because that's even Batman in the comics was campy at that time. I mean, he fit the time period. But I couldn't tell you a line specifically. But
Batman.
Batman. But yeah.
Did you have something about Eartha Kid or?
No, I chose Eartha Kid simply because of Santa Baby, which is a Christmas song. And so throughout the podcast, I will be spouting out some Christmas trivia, for you Santa babies.
You want to start off with some trivia, or do you want me to go on my first topic?
How many do you have? Because
I have two.
Okay, so I'll go first.
Yeah.
Makes sense that way. So the first one I have is it says that you can thank Prince Albert for your Christmas tree. So Christmas trees date back to the ancient Egyptians and Romans, which something else that was stolen from black people.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah. They marked the winter solstice with evergreens as a reminder that spring would return soon. So it would just be a reminder that, okay, it's snowing and it's brutal right now, but soon spring will come back.
Spring will show its face.
But it wasn't until Prince Albert of Germany introduced the tree to his wife, Queen Victoria of England, that the tradition really took off. So, so I guess for white people. So
it was a tradition long before us, apparently.
So the Christmas tree as we know it now and the way that we use it, I guess, we can thank Prince Albert for that.
My first topic on this, because, I mean, I didn't pick this because it had something to do with Christmas. It just had to do with, I had just seen Frozen lately, and I hadn't talked to you, in depth about it. Now, I don't know if you remember one of the last times we had went to one of our gatherings at Casey Moore's, and it was me, you, Jasmine, and this girl. You don't know her name. Her name is Cindy. She's a black girl, and we were all discussing Frozen because at the time I had never seen it, and I was asking, what is it actually about? Because I didn't know, and now everybody was trying to explain it to me, and the way, if you remember this, the way Cindy and I think somebody else that was there was explaining it was as if they kept making it seem as if that Elsa was being a bitch to Anna in the movie, which I had always just, from what they were saying, I just expected that. I expected Elsa to just be this big bitch when I watched the movie, where she was like, "Get your ugly ass out my room, Anna. I'm tired of seeing you, bitch." But
I honestly don't remember this conversation. I
can't remember. I feel like you were there.
I don't think I was a part of it, to be very honest, because I would have told you that wasn't true.
That's the way they're making it seem. And then I believe even Jasmine was sticking up because Jasmine said she actually liked the movie.
Yeah.
But
and I remember telling you that I didn't care for it.
Yeah, Cindy said she didn't really care for it either. And one of her reasons she didn't care for it was she was like that Elsa's a bitch and blah 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 blah. Then it was something else she said. And so when I was watching the movie, I'm expecting Elsa to just be this cold-hearted, get the fuck out my face, bitch.
Yeah.
And of course, at the beginning of the movie, you see the reason that she pushes her sister away is because her family essentially tells her to.
Yeah.
And tells her to hide her powers and never to go around your sister because she had an accident.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching this movie just like, so when's she gonna be a bitch? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to the part where they actually start letting people in for the first time when what is it when Elsa's about to be
when she's getting a coronation.
Yeah, the coronation. And she tells Anna, "You just met this man, bitch. You ain't in love with him. I'm not about to give you my
rightfully
blessing."
so.
Yeah.
They knew each other on a 30 minutes. They were going to get married.
Even with that, I'm like, that wasn't her being a bitch. That was her being an older sister. Being
Yeah.
like, "Girl, get your head on your damn shoulders."
Yeah. And then he turned out to be an asshole.
Yeah. But even like through the entire movie, and then when she wanted to protect everybody from her, and she ran off the entire time, Elsa is just trying to protect everybody else. She was like, "Please get away from me."
Yeah.
I didn't understand where the whole thought process of her being a bitch came from. It was just thoroughly confusing to me. I think maybe it was just a bias of Simbi that she just didn't like the movie, and that's maybe she just saw that and projected that on it. But I don't want to put it just on her because I've heard that from other people that Elsa was a bitch.
People have said that?
That Elsa was a bitch, and so like, and this is before I cared enough to inquire more about it. It was just like in passing and hearing, like just hearing or reading on Twitter or something. Somebody was like, their grievance with the movie was that Elsa was a bitch, and I thought, with all these people saying it, Elsa was just going through here slapping hoes. Just taking her glove off with an icy hand, slapping the power down. Yeah. But watching it, I was thoroughly confused. I enjoyed the music from Frozen as well, even though, I'm going to say this.
Okay.
Whoever sings for Elsa, it has a lovely voice.
That's Idina Menzel.
But I feel that she was reaching her limits a lot of the times and let it go.
She was. Because when she sang it live, she wasn't able to hit some of those notes.
Because, to be quite honest, what's the actress's name that plays Anna? I can't think of her name, but I love her so much. Kristen Bell, yes. Whenever I think of her, I think of Veronica Mars. That's the first thing I ever saw her in. Years ago.
I remember that.
Whenever I get ready to say her name, Veronica Mars comes to my mouth, and I know that's not it, so I have to stop myself.
I've only seen bits and pieces of Veronica Mars. When I think of her, what else was she was in a movie that I really like? I'm trying to.
Most of the time when you see her, she's with her husband, Dax. Dax.
Who's that?
Her husband, who she's been married to for fucking years.
I don't know her husband.
You've seen him, Baby Mama?
Was she in Baby Mama?
She wasn't in Baby Mama.
I'm about to say,
I'm just saying Dax is in Baby Mama.
Oh, who was he?
Amy Poehler's
boyfriend?
Yeah,
that's him?
That's who she's married to.
I wouldn't see that.
I mean, they are clearly something working with them because they've been together for a long ass time.
I'm not saying that you know that, but that's a strange looking couple.
Whenever I see them do interviews about it, well, mainly her. I don't really see him doing interviews, but when I see interviews of her and she brings him up, you can just, you know, when somebody talks about their significant other, and like something just lights up inside of them, you just know that they are in love. I have never not seen that from him when she's talking about that man. Like, not one single time. And it is something that I love to see. Like, I don't really care to hear about somebody's relationship when they're doing an interview. That's usually the part that I skip past. Yeah. But it's something about her where she, and I'm only saying her specifically because I can't think of anybody else that I've watched. And
I feel like Beyonce's like that when she talks about Jay-Z.
Which I don't understand, but
but you can tell she respects that man so much. She loves.
I mean, she would have to stick through what she went through.
To deal with the shit that but she's trying to make that marriage work, child. You can tell even when she talks about her marriage. Like I think even I don't know if you read her Elle interview, but she
is it the latest one?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I've just seen the pictures.
It's a pretty good interview. Probably her best ever to me because you can just tell she's just being real and honest. Yeah. And she talks about a lot of things about, you know, getting snubbed and all of that type of stuff. But she does talk about how much work it is, you know, to be married. Yeah. And of course she's talked about in her music how much work it is. Because if you listen to what's that song on the Lion King soundtrack? Bigger. Yeah. Like even then she was like it's hard being me, but I'm trying every day. I don't get no days off. This is, you know, and you can tell she mean that shit, and which I can believe it. I couldn't imagine being Beyonce. But as far as Kristen Bell, when I think of Kristen Bell, there's a movie that I absolutely love that she's in. It's called You Again.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's fucking hilarious. It has her in it. It has Jamie Lee Curtis in it. Oh. It has Sigourney Weaver.
All my bitches.
Yes. It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
With Kristen Bell, because I'm so, like, I was first introduced to her as Veronica Mars. Veronica Mars was not a comedy by any means. It was more of her being like this detective bitch running around, or I won't say detective. She thought she was a detective. She did. That bitch was staying going places she ain't had no business being. But So with that being so far removed from comedy, and now I think I haven't seen her in anything that's not comedic in some way.
I think she's really good in comedy.
She really is.
Yeah.
But I brought that up because I enjoyed her singing far more than I enjoyed what the hell do you call that woman?
Adina Menzel.
Yeah, I enjoyed her singing far more than that because I felt that in a lot of the songs she was hitting her limits of her vocal ability. And I didn't get that from Kristen Bell when she was singing. And Kristen Bell just isn't a singer. But I'd never heard her singing and felt she was straining.
Yeah, I don't know if you seem to not know Adina Menzel that well. But,
I don't know her outside of this movie.
I don't know if you've seen Rent.
I have, but not in a long time.
Oh, so you probably... Well, she's in Rent. She was also in the original cast from the play.
Does she sing really well in that?
I mean, she sings well. I mean, even in Frozen. I mean, you can tell she's a good singer. But you can tell she's one of those singers that... I don't know if it's just her technique or just the way she sounds, but she always sounds like she's training. Oh. It's just what she sounds like.
I didn't care for it. I don't like hearing you strain.
Her voice...
Because it's not
an acquired taste.
It's not like in, what's a genre? Like, I want to say R&B, but not really. More like bluesish. Like, when there's more, like, let's say...
Well, that's grit.
Yeah.
But that's different.
But even
technique.
with grit, there are some people that'll sing where you can hear them straining, but it's like the emotion the way they're emoting these lyrics and the tone of the song, that strain sounds good.
Yeah.
That strain didn't sound good to me.
Yeah. Like I said, her voice is an acquired taste, to be very honest. You can tell she's skilled. You can tell she can sing. But her voice is a voice I don't want to hear all the time.
Because honestly, when they played... What's the name of the song? Let It Go?
Yeah.
And I may be mistaken. Was at the end of it, was that...
You talking about the pop version?
The pop version. Who was that
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato. That was Demi Lovato singing that song, right?
Yeah, the pop version.
I enjoyed that far more.
Really? Because I hate that version.
She didn't sound like she was straining to me.
I mean, yeah, but I just hate... Because, they rewrite things and they change things to make it more pop. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like the things that they changed about the song. Now, her singing it was fine. I mean, Demi Lovato can sing.
I didn't pay attention too much of the version overall. I was listening to just vocality.
Okay.
If that's even a word.
I'm sure it's not.
Vocal ability.
Take it.
That's just what I was thinking of. Because after I was listening to it and I was like, she sounds good, but something was hitting my ear wrong. And then I rewound the scene because I wanted to hear it again. And because it started off, because I've always heard just the let it go part. Yeah. And so I never heard how it starts. Yeah. And when I was like, oh, this must be the scene for Let It Go. Yeah. But the way that it starts off does not sound anything like what it ends
Where
on.
it goes.
Yeah. And so I was listening like,
it takes a minute to get there.
I was like, is this the song? This is not much darker than what I remember.
Yeah.
But she sounded like I don't want it to seem like I'm saying she's a bad singer, because I don't think she's a bad singer.
I think you just don't like her tone. I mean,
yeah.
And that's more of a preference that has nothing to do with her particular ability.
Yeah.
That's just
her talent.
Yeah.
She's not. So you can tell she's a talented person. It's just I don't really care for the way she sounded straining. Because she said other songs she sounded good in.
Yeah, I do think that
it's just Let It Go was the only one
when they take it up there, because there are notes in that song like I'm never going back. The past is in the past. And then she goes up really high, and then it gets I think to the climax, and she hits a really really high note, and you can tell that that's not within her wheelhouse. More than likely, when she was recording that, it probably took her a couple of times to hit it. And I remember she was at the Oscars and she sang the song, and she surely did not hit that note. And
did she not hit it as in like it sounded bad, or she just didn't sing it?
No, she tried to hit it.
Oh,
she just didn't. And so of course a lot of people were talking shit about it. And she was like, well, I'm not defined by the notes I sing, And so, I mean, which she's not. I mean, whatever. But I think that, typically, if you're a person who knows that, okay, I can only hit that note on a good day, You know,
wait for that good day.
Yeah. So when you were practicing, which you have to rehearse if you're singing live, and you were like, okay, well, I'm not going to hit that note today. Let's go ahead and bring it down a couple of octaves, and I would have done it. I mean, Beyonce does it. Some days Beyonce don't always hit her high notes. She's gonna slip into a lower note. I mean, you got to know your voice, and I feel like she will stretch her voice sometimes. There are a lot of times when I hear her sing, and people just want to hit that because that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
But I can understand that. But if that's not you, don't do it. For instance, Jessie J, fabulous singer, but she doesn't have a lot of range. She pretty much stays.
I mean, and that's
right
a good thing
there.
to bring up because we had watched that video together of her trying to sing. It was a couple Beyonce songs, wasn't it?
It was Halo.
Was it just Halo?
It was Halo, and it was Listen, I believe.
Yes, Listen is what she started off with. And I think she went into Halo after she kept failing with Listen.
She was like, it's so high. And it's like, it's right on my bridge.
Which, Kimo and I was watching this, and we're sitting here like, Jessie J is a very talented singer. Yeah. Like I said, she doesn't have much range, but she can fuck that range up if she do got.
That range up. Which is fine. I don't care about a singer having a lot of range.
Yeah.
As long as it's not okay.
Because you having a lot of range does not diminish your ability.
It doesn't. And my thing is about singing and being a vocalist is knowing your instrument.
Yeah.
So she knows I'm right here in this little small section. But I'm gonna work this motherfucking section.
I'm about to blow the wheels off this section, bitch.
She does. She blows the wheels off the section. She doesn't have to hit high notes and low notes and this note and that note and whatever. I mean, yeah, it's nice to be able to do that. But the thing is, there are people who can do that, but they don't have control. Yeah. And one person we can talk about is Jennifer
I knew you were about to say.
I don't know where to control that. She don't know where it's at either.
But with Jessie J, it was just so enlightening to see somebody that I always looked at as such a powerful singer struggle to sing. Because like you pay attention more to like the acrobatics and things of vocalization and with singers and stuff. Yeah. I just hear it sound good to me. I never could have fathomed that Jessie J would have struggled singing a Beyonce song because I never thought of all the minutia that goes into like being able to hit this note or if something's too high for your register. Like all that stuff is very foreign to me. And so when I was sitting there listening to it, I'm like, I am just shocked. Shocked. That this bitch is struggling right now.
Yeah, and that's the whole point.
And I'm happy that she showcased it. That she wasn't so proud to not showcase that she can't do that.
She was like, I'm sweating. And all this other
she was putting the hair out.
And as I was telling you when we were watching it, I said the reason why she's struggling is because she's singing it in the key that Beyonce sang it. Now, if she would have sang it live, she would have had a band. Now, with what she was doing, she was singing along to backing track, which of course is already in the key that is in, and she can't change it. So she had to sing with the key. But if she would have sang it live, she would have had it brought down to a key that she can sing, and she would have fucked it up. Yeah. So that's the whole point of knowing your wheelhouse and singing it the way that you can sing it. So to me, she should have just went ahead and sang it a cappella and sang it in the way that she could. Yeah. But I think that a lot of people were trying to ask her to sing these Beyonce songs, and so she was just doing it live, and and it just showed that she knew her voice because when she was doing it, she was like, "Oh, this is so high. It's like right on my break, and I can't do it. It's so hard." And it's good to showcase that to people so they can understand what goes into singing.
I definitely appreciate it, and it didn't make me look at her any less than. It just opened my eyes more to everything that goes into individual voices. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, I would have never thought.
Because I think I don't exactly know. I could probably easily look it up, but I think Jessie J is more of a alto, which Beyonce is a mezzo soprano, which two completely different things, and which would make sense as to why she couldn't sing Beyonce songs. And really, to be very honest, Beyonce can't sing in those keys anymore because her voice has dropped. Yeah. So I mean, it's just what it is, and it doesn't have anything to do with whatever. And I think that since, as far as with Adina, she sings a lot of like musical theater. So, and they expect the women to be all the way up in the fucking rafters. The thing is, ain't everybody get up there. And I feel like that's fine. And I think that they probably were asking her to hit notes that she probably normally could not hit. And whatever.
The thing is with Let It Go, that song is such a beautiful song to me.
Mm-hmm.
I am probably gonna sit down at some point and just listen to other people's renditions of it because I would rather not hear her version. To be quite honest. And I mean, sure everybody else can like it. I mean, I'm not trying to trash it or anything.
I would love to hear Lea Michele sing it.
That would be probably really good.
I don't know. I know you didn't watch Glee.
I know Lea Michele though.
I mean, I'm just saying. I know you didn't watch Glee, but I'm finna say something about it. In Glee, Idina Menzel plays her mother.
Oh, that shit.
Yeah, they look a lot alike.
Oh, do they?
And
I don't even think I know what Idina Menzel looks like.
I'm sure you don't. Because you don't seem to know her. But they look a lot alike, so it was a perfect choice. And so they do some duets together. Mm-hmm. They did Poker Face at one point, but it's like the live version, which is Poker Face.
Poker Face.
Yeah, with the piano.
I love that version of Lady Gaga singing that song.
Yeah, and then they did the song from Les Mis. I dreamed a dream and time went by.
Does
the one that Anne Hathaway sang? They did a duet of that, which is beautiful. But she's singing a lot lower in that version. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Lea Michele could fuck that song up. Mm-hmm. I feel like she could, because she can hit those notes.
Let me not make you mistaken.
Man, when I tell you, because I watched Glee faithfully, and Lea Michele will make my ass cry. I just get up in here in tears, that bitch in that fucking voice.
With Frozen, it did make me, like I said, of course, I've never watched it before. I never had any interest because I knew it was too much singing for me.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, it wasn't a lot of singing.
It's not just honestly. Like when I just played the soundtrack. Yeah. It didn't take that long to get through it. It's not that many songs.
It was a great movie to me. I actually enjoyed it, except for the part where Anna was so head over heels with that man in a second. But I think that was the point of the movie. They wanted to show how unrealistic that is.
I think I agree with you on that, but also I think it's just because she hadn't had human contact and she didn't know.
The first man she saw.
Yeah, so it would be believable that maybe she would easily fall in love because she wouldn't know what it was.
It's true love.
Yeah, as soon as she was like, maybe I'll find true love today. That's not how it works, girl.
And I did also enjoy where the act of true love that unfroze her was from her sister, not from a man.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too. Because still she didn't know, even though she ends up with the other dude, I can't remember his name.
She wasn't saved by him.
She wasn't saved by him, and she still didn't know him that well. I mean, they still were getting to know each other, and so I think
she knew him better than that first man.
Yeah, she did, but I'm just saying they weren't in love.
Yeah,
and I don't like, because when just like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, these people who are like, oh, true love's first kiss, I mean, y'all met for 5 minutes. I just don't know.
That's why I think Disney did that on purpose. They were like, well, we have a reputation.
And I also like, because that song, he's a fixer upper. That song.
Is that the one with the little rock trolls?
Rock trolls.
Yeah, I like that too.
And they were basically saying, true love isn't what you think it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that, after all this time of the damsel in distress and this beautiful prince comes along out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're in love and y'all meet in the woods, and we're supposed to believe that they live happily ever after.
Meanwhile, he probably beating the dog shit out of her.
Yeah. And so I'm glad that that they're kind of turning that on its head now, and showing that that's unrealistic, and really it is. I mean, it's not to say that that love at first sight doesn't happen, but. I mean, it's a rare commodity, I would have to say, even if it does happen. I mean, I'm sure there are people who did fall in love with their first person. I mean, for instance, Celine Dion. I mean, she met her man when she was young.
What was his name?
Renee.
Yeah.
She met him when she was young. He was like 20, almost 30 years older than her. And that's the only man she ever been with. And so now with he's gone and people keep asking her if she's dating, she's like, no. She's like, only been with one man, and I'm sure she couldn't imagine
him being gone.
Yeah,
especially being together that long.
Yeah, being together all that time, and that's the only man you ever been with, the first man you ever kissed, and now
Like,
they expect folks to just she's supposed to just go out and find somebody else,
just slang that pussy on the next man that
you know,
blink at her.
She was hanging with a man,
that gay man,
that
her
gay
makeup
man,
artist or whatever.
Yeah, and everybody thought they were a couple, and
Yeah.
just because they were going out holding hands. She was like, he's gay.
People were also
he don't want me.
trying to blame a lot of her spending habits that she's been doing lately on him. And I remember Wendy was like, Celine Dion is not stupid. She was like, I'm sure if Celine Dion is spending money, it's because she wants to fucking spend money. It's not because you can't blame this one man to come in her life and just think that he's throwing her off the rails.
I don't think it has anything to do with him. First of all, Celine Dion's always been a great dresser. I mean, that's not anything new. I feel like she's become more experimentative now that Renee is gone. But for one thing, Renee controlled her life. I'm not to say that he was nasty or mean, but he was the one that made the decisions.
Yeah.
And she allowed that to be because that was her manager.
Yeah.
And I think now she's finally in control of her own shit. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do. You know, and I'm sure she misses her husband, but I'm sure she's enjoying the freedom of wearing what she wants to wear.
Yeah,
and do what she wants to do.
Yeah.
And so I don't see anything wrong with that. And I mean, I'm sure she's not spending any more money than she was before. And even though I'm probably sure a lot of that shit is free.
Right. Frozen just made me happy or more excited to see Frozen 2 because I was interested in seeing Frozen 2 more because it seemed like they were going to be doing more with the powers and everything. So I was interested in seeing that, but I'm more interested now that I've seen and digested the first movie because I watched quite a few Disney movies that I haven't seen yet. Like I watched Coco, which was a beautiful,
love that movie. I've seen it.
Beautiful fucking movie.
Yes,
the visuals, the music, the acting. It was so good. I love that movie.
Remember me.
Oh, that's so sad. Child, I was crying.
It hurt me so bad watching that movie and that boy thinking this dude was his father.
This
and
whole time.
This the dude that killed his father. And it was just fucking terrible. And not his father, his grandfather.
Yes.
His grandfather and like the grandmother Coco, waiting on her father to come back, and then her mother thinking that
he left him.
That he left.
He left them and said he fucking got killed. He got killed. Poisoned.
And it was just so sad.
And I didn't know, but I figured that's what it was going to be at the beginning when they first showed that dude. Because I felt like there was no other reason for them to be showing him. I was like, watch, it's going to be his fucking grandfather. Or great-grandfather. When it comes to the end. And then I started to doubt it because what's his name was so in it, and then shit started being revealed, and I was like, oh, okay. But
beautifully written.
It was a beautifully written movie. And then I also watched, what was it, Frozen, Coco. Oh my god, there was something else that I fucking finally watched. That was a Disney movie, and I cannot think of it right now. I think because I was so mesmerized after Coco. Coco was so good, and I loved all that music in there, and just the representation of Hispanic culture. It was such
a good representation. I've seen it's become a surgence of the Day of the Dead. Like a lot of people have gotten really into it. Like that one movie, Book of Life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but it also was about the Day of the Dead, and it was cute. But I just feel like Coco felt so authentic.
It did.
And that's what I enjoyed the most of it. It was such a good representation of the Hispanic culture. And I think that, it's the best representation I've seen so far in an animated film. I think I'm so happy because Disney has gotten to the point where they want to showcase more than white people.
Yes.
And represent these other cultures. And you know how ecstatic I was when we got Moana because Polynesian.
Moana was an amazing movie too.
I was like, they showing my peeps. And so I was so excited about that. I mean, of course we had Lilo and Stitch, but I mean, that didn't represent.
Aaron was watching Lilo and Stitch the other day, and I had never noticed how muscular Lilo's fucking legs are.
Well, Lilo, it was a fighter. Lilo will punch a bitch in the fucking face. And I love Lilo for that. That girl talking shit about her, that girl decked that bitch. She was like, oh, you want to talk shit?
I was like, Lilo got the most muscly legs I've ever seen on a child.
child. I loved Lilo. I love when they have a character, especially a woman, who does not back down.
Yeah.
And Lilo was not the one.
I didn't care for the TV show, but I loved the movie.
Yeah, the TV show was all over the place. The movie was good, but most of their TV shows are like when they have, because there was a TV show for Aladdin, there was a TV show for Lilo and Stitch, there was a TV show for Little Mermaid, and
didn't know about
all
that
of them,
or Atlanta.
and Tarzan, and all of them. All of them had TV shows.
I remember Tarzan.
I did like the Tarzan TV show, but
I don't remember much about it. I remember it being out.
I used to enjoy it. I used to watch it pretty regularly. I watched the Little Mermaid TV show. Didn't really watch Aladdin. But I was never, to be honest, I know a lot of people really I was never the biggest fan of Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
I love A Whole New World. I love that song, but I mean, the movie was slow to me. So I love Jafar and I love Genie, but I didn't care about Aladdin. Even, we were talking about, the other one in the other podcast, but the live version, but the original I didn't care about either.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wasn't, when I was critiquing the actor, I was saying, I'm not this person that's I need it to be so authentic or close to the original, because I don't even really care for the original, to be quite honest. Yeah. But there are certain aspects of it, like Jafar, that I feel like there was no need to dumb him so fucking hard down.
Yeah. Blah. But, so, Christmas trivia!
Make a song for it.
Christmas trivia. So, as we all know, we have a specific way that we view Santa. We see him as an old white man with...
Which I have several problems with.
Well, we see him as an old white man with the beard and the red suit and the little white cuffs and the boots. So that version actually comes from Coca-Cola.
Oh, really?
Yes. And there was a Coca-Cola ad that was made...
Coca-Cola made Santa.
Well, not the version that we see today. Santa was originally not really seen as jolly or nice. He was more stern. So Coca-Cola wanted wanted to use a Santa that looked nice and was approachable to kids. So they said the original Santa could be a little bit more spooky. So they didn't really want to go with that. So Coca-Cola in 1931 created the Santa that we know today in a magazine advertisement.
I really would not have expected that.
Yeah.
I remember Coca-Cola having, Santa Claus has been, very iconic for Coca-Cola. Yeah. But never in a million years would I have thought that they made that version of him. But, I was saying that I have several problems with not him being a old, fat white man. It was my problem being with, we always talk about this, how it comes to parents lying to their children. About, we live in a world where parents will lie to their kids about this old fat white man climbing down their chimneys, breaking and entering into houses. But the moment somebody tells the truth, Santa ain't real, you up in arms about it.
Yeah.
I've never understood that. But I don't understand why that's something you want to tell your kids. Why is that something that you think sounds good to your kids? And I was saying that to somebody before at work the other day. We were discussing just that. I was saying, I from the moment Lamar was a child, I told him Santa wasn't real. Because for what?
Yeah.
I bought this gift. I worked hard to get you this motherfucking gift.
Yeah.
So did your grandmother. So did whoever else got you this gift. And they were like, well, that just ruins the traditions. What traditions? And then they were like baking cookies. You can still... Who the fuck told you can't bake cookies, bitch? No, why does it... It's more problematic, in my opinion, that you feel that you have to make some imaginary person up to be able to spend time with your family. Yeah. That sounds like a sad life to me.
I always said, I'll never have kids, but I always said that if I did, I wouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. You can still put up your tree. You can still grab your presents. You can still do all of that without lying to your kids.
The thing is, you still do it for years after they find out. Real. Yeah. So why is it an issue? Why start it in the first place?
You're taking away their childhood.
No, it's not.
They still have a childhood. Trust me. They still doing shit.
There are people who don't tell their kids anything about Santa, and those kids are just motherfucking fine. Your kids get or the issue is you get hurt when those kids come to school and somehow it slips that they know Santa isn't real. Yeah. Then your kids come back home asking you why you such a motherfucking liar, and now you mad that you gotta admit that you a liar. That's what it sounds like to me, because the whole thing just does not make sense to me, especially with you saying, what like the baking cookies thing. You can just, okay, if this is the holiday season right now, let's, you and your kid, your nephew, son, daughter, whoever the fuck it is, let's come on, let's bake some cookies and we eat them after.
Yeah,
while we wasting these cookies overnight.
Yeah. I don't know. The Santa thing didn't last very long in my household. My parents tried to keep it up, but I was a smart kid, so I knew very quickly.
It's like most smart kids would know that that's not right. Like, first of all, Mom, we ain't got no chimney, so what he coming in at?
That was always a weird thing to me. We had a chimney, but the thing is, you know, I knew people who didn't. I don't know, when I would go to my grandparents' house, they didn't have a chimney, and I'd be like, okay, so where he coming in at, through the window? Like, that was the odd thing to me, because I would spend a lot of Christmases with my grandparents, and they were like, oh, you got to go to bed early, so you can, because, you know, they want you to hear him go to bed so they can wrap them presents.
Yeah.
And so, no, I'm not going to bed. What you mean? But it was very quick that I understood that Santa wasn't real. And I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't want to feel like the only way I can build a relationship with my child is through lies.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like we need to break those, that cycle of really lying to our kids. Like I said, I won't be breaking it because I don't have kids. But if I did, that would be my goal, is to be honest and transparent with my kids, and for my kids to feel like they could come to me and talk about real things.
But my other topic was about Steven Universe, or Steven Universe Future.
Okay.
I was bringing it up because I was just enthralled with the whole Pink Pearl storyline that they were bringing up. Now, remember, I was talking to you earlier when we had watched the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
When I first, I'm gonna take it back. When I first saw a scene about this, those 2 episodes, or that specific episode where Pink Pearl talks about what happened to her, or tries to talk about what happened to her, because the other Pearl wasn't having it.
Yeah,
she's like, you ain't about to sully Pink's name, bitch.
Yeah, but, very much so.
So I can't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and find it. There's either Cartoon Network posted this. I truly hope. I want to say 98% sure that Cartoon Network posted this, or somebody else did. Where when she says, "Well, you know how she's like, Pink was trying to get her colony or whatever, and she got upset because they kept dismissing her. Like, you know how Pink can get." And the scene cuts to, remember when we were first finding out about Pink and the way she looked, and she had punched that glass?
Yeah.
They cut that scene in there.
Yeah.
To make it seem as though her injury, like that glass that she punched, was actually Pink Pearl. That's what it meant. So when I saw that, I was like, I need to see this. And it wasn't in the episode. So I was very confused. But now my mind is just stuck in, is that actually what happened? Did she get mad? And when we thought that she was punching just some random glass, Pink Diamond, she was actually punching Pink Pearl. And that's why her eye looks like that.
I don't think that. I think it was just a callback. Because it turned out that the situation she was talking about happened exactly that same time. Yeah. So I think they was like, okay, you remember you saw this? So this is the same time as when that happened.
But it just made it seem like since she punched that glass and it cracks.
Well, she punched the glass, but I mean,
I'm trying to go see if Cartoon Network still have, if it's on and Jackie Anna has a video up, so we have to watch it.
Okay. I
mean, she ain't had a video up in a long time, so I was shocked to see what this is about before. What the hell is soft glam makeup? Okay.
I'm not sure. So I think it's just the reference to the callback. But, which I was happy about the callback, because, I mean, it makes sense. Because it was the only time we really saw Pink Diamond be violent.
Yeah. But from what it seems like Pink Pearl has been discussing, bitch was violent a lot. She was all the time. Until she started changing.
Yeah. So it's what she was known for at that time. But then I guess I think when she hurt Pink Pearl is when she decided, okay, I need to stop doing this.
Do you think you have an idea of what she did to Pink Pearl to hurt her? Like, for it to be to such an extent that her crack isn't healing.
Well, I think the reason why the crack isn't healing is
because she herself is holding on to it.
Yeah, she's holding on to it in, like, what is it, the reef? Shale, right? Her name was Shale.
Yeah.
She said that the reason why it hasn't gone away is because it is more of a psychological thing. So that's just, I guess, because maybe because she loved Pink so much, she probably never thought that Pink would hurt her.
Yeah.
And so when Pink did,
I can definitely see that.
It stuck. It's just like if your parent hurts you. You know, it's that type of trauma never goes away.
Yeah.
So I think that's very much the issue. But I think when she was talking to Yellow, she got very angry. She broke that glass. She probably went back to her room or whatever it is. Pink Pearl was right there. She probably was like knocking everything over, and then Pink Pearl just happened to get smacked in the face. But she also said that she had a scream that would break the walls and all that type of stuff, you know. Yeah. So, and I think it was Pink Pearl's injury that just made her be like, "Oh no, I need to check myself."
So it wasn't Cartoon Network. So I guess I don't believe it more than. This is the scene. I don't have the audio on. I guess I'll turn it up.
To hurt me. I just happened to be standing too close to her that time. And
doesn't matter.
Yeah, see, when she was about to go punch, that's what my mind went to. I was like, oh, child.
Yeah, I think they just used the callback. Well, whoever made that video.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I really liked finally knowing. And, like, I had this conversation with Aaron. I don't think I had it with you yet. As far as it makes me rethink White. Because we believe that White was so evil.
Yeah.
But White didn't do that. And so I feel like
everybody did just assume that
White was bad.
Yeah.
I don't think White
Not just that she was bad, but that she did that to Pearl.
I mean, even Pearl. Like, she was like, oh, so terrible that she did that to her. And Steven
just couldn't fathom that Pink did it.
That nobody thought that Pink would have done it. And I think that it really made me rethink White and saying that everybody just assumed that White was malicious and nasty, we never saw White really do nasty, malicious things. We saw her like control people.
She's very controlling,
but she didn't really outright hurt people. You didn't really see that. And to me, if you really look at it, I felt like White most of the time didn't really even bother with people. She probably always in her head. And,
which I love that metaphor.
Yeah.
I love that metaphor so much.
She was always in her head. I don't feel like she ever came out. I feel like nobody ever saw her other than the diamonds. And I feel like she, just like what everybody was, she felt like she was made for a purpose. And that purpose was to make everything better. And so if she made everything else to have a purpose. And if you weren't doing that purpose, she felt like something was wrong with that. And then she would fix it or get rid of you. And I don't think she did it to be malicious or mean or nasty. I think that she did because that was what she was created to do. Like in that interview with Rebecca Sugar, where she said that they are technology. They were made for a reason. And that was the reason I feel like that she was made. Now, who made White? I hope that we find out.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to really, really digest it now and to think, okay, well, she never was evil.
Yeah.
You know.
Even though I really wanted her to be like a bad bitch that just came down, just slapping everybody to the ground.
I wanted her to be that too because it took so long to meet her.
Yeah. Especially hearing all these bad things that she was doing to everybody. And
well, the thing is we didn't really even hear that. I mean, the thing that made White so menacing is the simple fact that they never said her name for most of the motherfucking season.
Yeah,
like they never mentioned her. That series. They never mentioned her once until like it was right before the time when she was gonna come, and they had to finally we got to go see White. Like they would not talk about her, and so it made her seem so much more menacing than what she ended up being.
Very much so. Because I remember when we first saw her, I was like, I think we hyped her up more in our heads based off of what little we knew of her, but the way that everybody reacted to the thought of her. Yeah. Like even, what was it when
Hello, Starlight.
When she kicked Steven out the room, or when Yellow finally got to talk to him, and he was like, she said, "What did you say to her?" And he said, "I just said whatever." And she was like, 3 words or 2 words, more than I ever got. That's amazing. So I was just like, I feel like she's very, like you said, controlling and authoritative, as well as she may be belittling as well. Like, what you saying may matter to you. I feel that you feel what you're saying is important.
Even now, she's still like that, but I think that's more of like elitist thing.
Yeah, she's very
than
elitist.
Being,
but at the same time, it's hard to not be elitist when you're at the top.
Yeah, when you created everything.
When you are elite, it's hard to not be elitist.
To not be elitist. So I think she's just elitist, which I don't think makes her evil. Mm-hmm. But I think it's easy to view her that way.
Yeah.
And so I'm very interested in what they're going to do with her this season because...
I wonder, in the opening when they show I guess was going to be the main boss or a main evil person, that worm thingy, when they also show that pink version of White Diamond.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's either another version of her or if that is her because, she started blushing pink.
Yeah, it could be. She could be going through the same thing that Steven's going through right now with...
Constantly turning pink.
But,
so what do you think that is? I kept thinking that it's like Pink Diamond's rage showing up.
See, I don't know. It's hard to even know, to be honest.
Because you think one thing and it changes by the time it actually happens.
Yeah, it's hard to even guess. I don't think it has anything to do with Pink. I think it probably has a little bit to do with him, becoming a teenager. And once you get to 15, 16, it's hard to channel your rage in positive ways.
Yeah.
And so it's realistic to his age. But at the same time... it's hard to guess because we could be thinking that and then it could be something completely different in the end. So I don't know.
I think because when we think about it in a way that would make it more, not so much adult, but just more mature.
Yeah.
And then when something actually happens, it seems to be very dumbed down or to be child friendly with it. So I think our thought process always ends up not always being wrong, but typically when we first start thinking about it before we start really rationalizing the whole situation, it typically is something that I don't think Rebecca Sugar would ever do as far as this show is going.
Yeah.
It's more of something that I feel like is logical. But it's too mature
because,
for what
we've
Steven
been
Universe
made
is.
to believe that Pink is gone. Just gone. Completely gone.
Which I still don't understand that. The gym is still there.
The gym is still there, so I don't know why she's gone or why we're made to believe that she's gone because I just thought that I was going to know that when White took that fucking gym out of Steven that Pink was going to come. And I was like, yes, finally. And she didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw her for like a second and then it turned to Steven. So I don't know. But
that's why I think that pink version is her because and this is just my takeaway from that scene when she took the pearl out or the diamond out and that pure pink energy version of Steven came out. I always to this day look at that as being Pink Diamond and Pink Diamond being like, look, bitch, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm going to stay dead. I mean, she's not really dead, but this is just her saying, stop looking for me. I've given my life up for Steven. Like, my life is now just centered in this gym. Don't nobody need to know nothing else about me. Leave me the fuck alone. This is about Steven. So I feel like that was what that was, all that rage and when she's like, she's gone. Like, she's like, please, bitch, leave me alone.
Now,
I just like, that's all manifested energy of Pink. And then she went and hugged her child and went back up in that gym and said, here we go.
It could be, from what Rebecca Sugar said.
I don't think I ever heard her talk about it.
She talked about it. From what she said that when White took the diamond out of Steven, the diamond part of Steven, which is Pink Steven, it's just power. It's all of the power that he is. And of course, Steven is the humanity. And so she said that they can't function without each other because the power needs Steven to be human, and Steven needs the diamond or the power to So she said they can't function without anybody. That's why without each other. That's why you saw Steven just kind of like flailing, because he couldn't live without it.
It seemed like the power was quite honestly doing perfectly fine without Steven.
Yeah, but the thing is, she said that it is just as power can be. It has no emotions. It has no logic. It's just full on fury and rage, and that's all that it is. So without Steven, it can't be anything else.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it could just be power and go out and destroy everything, but it couldn't do anything. But that's basically how she said it. She said it more eloquently than me, but because she's a great speaker. But that's basically what she said. Now, I have a hope, and this is just my blind hope, and it more than likely isn't going to happen.
I mean,
But
even my thought process of it being pink is not going to happen. So
yeah, this is my hope. So we saw the episode Rosebuds where we got to meet finally actual rose quartz. So there ended up being only one rose quartz that looked
just
like
her.
Rose. There's only one. All the rest of them look completely different, but just one looks like her. So my hope is that somehow they will be able to extract Pink from his gem and put it into her. But that's my hope.
Because even her gem is in the same spot.
Yeah, she's
like literally a carbon copy.
The same.
So I'm like, either that or did Pink, when Pink came down and she saw all of the rose quartzes, did she see that one specifically and say, this is what I want to look like?
Well, see, I don't know. Because if you remember the scene that we saw when she came down, she didn't come down to rose quartz. She came down to amethyst.
She did.
We never even saw a rose quartz until this. So I don't know exactly. But that's my hope.
I was under the assumption for the longest time that rose quartz, or that pink diamond bubbled all the rose quartzes. I always thought that until
I did too.
Until we were watching it, when we watched the episode, and I was like, why none of them mad? Because I would have saw Steven like, yo mama a bitch. Yo mama a bitch. And so I think Aaron had clarified it for me. He was like, no, the other diamonds did because they thought a rose quartz was fucking up shit. And so they said, let's bubble them all.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it in the episode where they were taken to the human zoo. And then they sang, what's the use of feeling blue?
See,
they mentioned it in that episode.
I don't remember that part from the episode at all.
Yeah, basically, if you remember when Yellow was talking to Blue, she said, "Why are you keeping these?" Because it was a rose quartz that murdered her, and she said, "I can't because they're a part of her." So they bubbled her, but Blue didn't want to get rid of them because they are still a part of Pink, and Pink made them. And so she wanted to, you can tell, Blue wants to keep everything Pink ever had.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. She kept the human zoo.
But it's very much so like a mom that wants to keep all the things in their kids. And then, of course, the yellow one being like,
Yellow's like, get rid of it.
Get this shit out my house.
Yeah. Like, get rid of it. It's not doing anything with making you sad. So that's basically that. So they did kind of talk about it. Not in depth, but they mentioned it. But I'm very interested to see what's going on. At least we are getting more action this season.
Yeah.
Than
it's
previous.
Not taking as long to get to some point. But also, it's just fascinating to me. The more we learn about Pink, the more the paradigm shift of what we thought of White and Pink becomes the opposite. We thought White was this horrible person and Pink was just a lovely soul. Now it's becoming.
And the thing that's the most interesting to me is that you think at some point you would learn something that was redeeming about Pink.
And we have yet to learn something redeeming.
The more you learn about her, and like, it's even in Steven. Steven had gotten to the point where he was like, I don't want to hear nothing else bad about what my mother did. He's fed up with learning more stuff. And it's interesting that he's so affected by, all the bad things that his mother did. And the thing is, because he's put it upon himself to try to fix everything she did wrong. And I think that's why that's also contributing to his Pink Steven, because he's extremely stressed, thinking that he has to fix everything. And even when he was talking to Amethyst was like, you can't fix everything. You can't take that on. It's not your job to fix everything. But he every time you see him, it's like, I just want to fix it. I just want to fix it.
I think mainly because he knows his mom did so much horrible stuff, and every time he finds more out about her, it's more horrible. And so I feel like it's putting him into overdrive. Like, well, now I'm put in this same position. I'm in her role. People are viewing me as Pink, and I need to make up for.
And I got to make up for it
what she's done, because she's done some awful fucking things.
She's done some awful things, and the thing is about that, because when Pink Pearl or volleyball. I'm not calling her that. I mean, what was wrong with saying Pink Pearl?
I don't.
So, Pink Pearl, she did
don't they call the other pearls Yellow Pearl, Blue Pearl? Or?
I think they just call them all Pearl.
Oh.
We call them that, but they just call them Pearl. But when Pink Pearl has said, "Oh, you're just like her." He's like, "No, I'm nothing like my mother. Please don't say that." Which I don't blame him because I would have done the same thing. No, I'm not like that bitch. Bitch is crazy.
I would love to see a scene. Just it could just be in a memory or something like that, or a dream of what Pink did to the Pearl. I just want to see it.
What I want, this is what I really want, and this is why I guess I want so badly for that Rose Quartz to end up getting Pink's soul or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because I want Steven to be able to have a conversation with her.
His mother.
I want them to have a real conversation.
So that's gonna be a deep moment.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll probably be in tears.
The only way it's gonna be done right is if we end up in tears.
Yeah.
If we don't end up in tears, I won't feel that it was done properly.
Yeah.
Because there is so much shit that she's done, and so much shit that he's been trying to redeem for her and fix on her behalf, that I feel like when they sit down and have a conversation, there's going to be so much emotion and tension in that if you don't write that properly, it's not going to land.
I feel like Rebecca will make sure that it's written properly. My thing is, and this is why I want that conversation, is that because everything we know about Rose and Pink is secondhand. Everybody else's memories, everybody else's interpretation of who she was and what they thought. That's why we have so many different versions of her, because everybody's had different interpretations of who she was, whether she was evil, whether she was bad, whether she was great, whether she was a godsend.
People thinking she was a jovial child.
Yeah.
Thinking she was a straight up bitch.
Yeah. So I would like, hopefully, and I just hope in any way that we can do it, that Steve will be able to have that conversation with her where she can finally tell who she was and say, this is why I was the way I was. Yeah. And this is why I did the things that I did. And maybe they were wrong. And maybe I shouldn't have done them. But this is why I did it.
I don't think it needs to be anything where she needs to try to justify what she did.
I don't think
point blank period.
This is why.
I did this. This is why I did this. Feel how about it? You want to. But
I don't think she needs to justify it.
I don't want her to have to explain it to the other gems. I would just want her to explain it.
Talk to Steven.
I'm going to tell you because I love you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you deserve to know. You're taking up most of the grunt of the shit I've done.
Yeah.
Like, anybody coming for the crystal gems. They coming for Steven.
Yeah.
So I feel like if she would just if she could do that, like you said, and have the sit down talk with him and just explain herself. Like, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Let me at least give you an insight instead of you hearing about me from the gems or me from, what was that? The bitch from the movie. Spinell, hearing about me from Spinell or the Diamonds or whoever.
Because if you talk, the interpretation of Pink is different based on who it is. Like, everybody's got a different opinion of who she was. Nobody's opinion is the same.
Which just makes her seem so two-faced or multi-faced.
Yeah, it's like you don't know who she was. So I would love.
Because nobody's idea of her is even the same. Even between the gems.
Even between the Diamonds. The Diamonds who spent the most time with her. Their versions of her is different depending on which one you talk to.
And then just like Amethyst's version is different than what is her name? The bitch with Ruby and Sapphire. Garnet. Garnet's version is different than Pearl's. Pearl's is different than the bitch with the rainbow hair. What is her name? Bismuth. And so on and so forth. Everybody's version is different. Even people that are closely knit to her are different versions of her.
Because she's only given certain bits of herself to certain people. So it's very interesting. I would like for her to be able to speak for herself, because she hasn't had the time in all of these 5 seasons to speak for herself, and everybody else spoke for her. So I think it would just be great, even if she's just around for that short moment, just to be like, this is why I did it. I think that would be great. I would love that, because not to say for her to say, you know what, not for her to be like, oh, well, we understand it. We don't have to understand it.
I don't want us to have to understand it. I just want to hear it.
Yeah, I just would like to hear why she was like that. Why did she do this? Why does she love Earth so much?
Because typically, people that do things like that, from when we think about movies and TV, people that only give themselves, certain parts of themselves to certain people, are usually up to something. I mean, she was up to something. But I would just, like, you don't really ever get to see from their point of view why they did it. Because usually they did. Or they didn't ran off somewhere and hid somewhere. So it would be very nice. As much as I want, I don't think we're gonna get it.
I don't think we're gonna get it.
But it would be a very nice surprise if it does. If it did happen. I thought I would scream across the apartment.
Now,
if I saw a pink diamond pop up.
Yeah, like for instance, I'm just gonna say, like, when you watch these video reactions of these folks crying. That would be me.
Yeah.
That would be me in that moment. It'd be the only time I've done it in this series. But it would be that moment because I just would like for her to be able to explain herself and for us to really know who she was and what she thought. And the reason, and my personal reasoning as to why she loved Earth so much is because Earth was ever changing. Mm-hmm. And that's, of course, that wasn't a diamond, but she wanted to change. That clearly is the key to everything that happened, as far as her trying to be a part of Earth, because she wanted to change, to be different, because she didn't like who she was, clearly. As far as how she treated Pink Pearl and all that stuff. So I think that's why she loved Earth so much, and that's why she embraced it and wanted to be a part of it. I think she go about it in a good way, no. But I would definitely like to hear her version of it. But Christmas trivia. Christmas trivia. It was the Activia. So
keep it regular.
Jingle Bells, as you know, Jingle Bells, right? It's a very, very Christmas staple, right? Mm-hmm. It was originally for Thanksgiving. It was originally for Thanksgiving? A Thanksgiving song. So
I'm thinking of the songs for Jingle Bells. I'm just like, none of that.
Well, it was originally a Thanksgiving song written by James Lord Pierpont. It was originally called One Horse Open Sleigh. And it was performed at church during Thanksgiving concerts originally. In 1857, the song was republished under the Jingle Bells title and became a popular Christmas song. Now, it does not sound like a thing,
I'm singing it to myself right now, and I'm just like, not a single damn thing in there. Everything's screams Christmas. Like, what bells are jingling on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I guess church bells, since it was sang at church. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was sang at Thanksgiving concerts at church. Maybe in the north it's snowing. Because if it's in the south, like, it doesn't snow. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying I don't know exactly where James Lord Pierpont was at. But this was before 1857, because in 1857 is when it became a Christmas song. So if he's from Europe, it's definitely snowing. Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense if that's where it came from. But
I think it's so tied to Christmas, I can't see it.
It's a Thanksgiving song, like nothing about it. But also because who's in a One Horse Open Sleigh here? I mean, nobody. So I don't know. Maybe for the time period, I would have to be there to see it. Yeah. But that's all my trivia for today. But see, we learned some new things.
I don't know. I really don't know much of the traditions of Christmas. I'm not a traditional person by any means, like, at all. Uh-huh. I'm not a traditional person. The only reason I celebrate Christmas is because I just love the festivities of it. Yeah. I think we talked about this with Rania. When we were talking about, like, none of us are religious. We're not Christians whatsoever. But mm-hmm. I don't feel that as much as Christians want to hold on to Christmas, it's not a Christian thing. At least not anymore. It may have started off that way. I don't know. But Christmas is not a Christian thing. It is very much so something that everybody does because it's just, or most people do because it's very festive. Yeah. People get hung up on their own religions and don't want to participate in Christmas because they are like, oh, well, it's a Christian thing. Well, but I just don't see... Yeah. Aside from, like, if you're somebody that's talking about the baby Jesus in the manger and all that shit, I ain't thinking about that. I'm thinking about this Christmas tree. I'm thinking about them gifts. I'm thinking about the cookies, eggnog, whatever else festive, like parties you want to go to with your friends and family. That's what I think about when I think about Christmas. I'm not thinking about church.
That's all upon myth and legend. Mm-hmm. Christmas comes from a pagan holiday, as most holidays do. And it has nothing to do with Jesus originally. They just made it that. But it was just a celebration of the winter solstice, which, it wasn't always on December 25th. Of course, it's changed. But people made it about Jesus, and that's just what it was. I think that people have kind of stepped away from the religion aspect. Me personally, there are some of the religious songs I like for Christmas, like "Oh Holy Night." I like that song, but I don't really listen to a lot of the religious ones. There's one that I know, Jesus. Oh, what a wonderful child. Now, I don't care about that song.
That just sounds like a Christmas song. That sound like Christmas to me.
It's a Christmas song. I love Joy to the World. Well, I love Whitney Houston's version. That's the version I love. Joy to the world. I love her version.
I've never heard her version.
I would have to play it for you.
Clear away from that song.
If you hear her version, you might like it. It's just the composition of it that makes it good. It starts off slow and then it gets like really like upbeat, and then it like goes kind of jazzy, and then it has a false ending, and then it comes back, and then like it's just a really good time, to be honest.
I really like it's not a religious song at all, but Ariana Grande's song that you were playing recently. Tell me, baby.
Santa, tell me.
Oh, there it is.
If you're really there, don't make me fall in love again, and she won't be here next year.
I love that song so much.
She's got some good Christmas songs.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not a traditional person. I don't like Aaron. You and Aaron are very much more traditional than I am. Aaron, every day on Christmas, I'm sure this Christmas he's gonna find a way. He wants to watch A Christmas Story every year.
Yeah, that's a tradition for me too. I
truly give no fuck. I watched the movie to appease him. Like, it's not a bad movie. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't see it on Christmas, I wouldn't care. Like, my first time seeing it was with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard of A Christmas Story. I've known about that. You're gonna shoot your eye out. I've known about that, but I'm not into Christmas music or Christmas movies like that. If I hear them and they sound good, I'll go ahead and listen to them. But usually, I'm listening to Christmas music in like July. Like Aaron always makes fun of me because he's like, you listen to Christmas music all throughout the year, but the moment December comes, you're like, nope, turn it off.
Like, I changed my ringtone. My ringtone becomes a Christmas song. Like, and I don't do this anymore, but it was my tradition to always watch 25 Days of Christmas. And that was ABC Family. Well, the names have changed multiple times, but
I don't even know. I think it's
Freeform now.
Yeah,
but it was at one point Fox Family and then ABC Family, and then I don't know. So however it is now, but it's now Freeform. I used to watch 25 Days of Christmas, but I used to do the same thing with Halloween because Halloween had 13 days of Halloween, and so I used to do both of those.
I don't know if it was so much a tradition because I would watch the 13 Days of Halloween or whatever. When I could, but for the most part, I would just always try to find horror movies to watch. I guess that'd be a tradition. I was trying to find horror movies to watch, but as far as like traditions in the sense of like Thanksgiving, Christmas, stuff like that, I've never been much of a person that does tradition. I do what I want to do. Not to say that it's bad to have a tradition. It's just more so. Some things just don't stick for me. Like Christmas, like I love the festivities of Christmas, but when it comes to that, the thought process of like I can't put myself in that position or the thought process of sitting down and being like, okay, well that time has come, it's Christmas Day, I gotta find this movie. Like that thought doesn't come to me. Christmas Day comes, I'm like, oh, it's another day. Let's open these gifts and we lay back down.
I guess because it all depends. I think it has to do with. Well, I don't know what your family did exactly.
My family made Christmas a very huge deal.
Yeah, and so maybe you didn't care about that. I know for us it was, and I just liked the feeling of Christmas, and I guess, and so 25 Days of Christmas, to me, the weekend after Thanksgiving, that's when you put up your tree, and then December 1st.
Not so much from a traditional standpoint. That just makes sense. I feel like it's more of a an OCD thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, okay, we're about the Christmas thing. Thanksgiving really doesn't matter to most people when you think of the grand scheme of things. It's Halloween then Christmas. Don't nobody really think about Thanksgiving until Thanksgiving is there.
Until you eat that food.
Yeah. I feel like it makes sense to like the moment December 1st hits, that tree needs to be up.
Yeah.
In my mind, it just makes sense. So it's not so much from a traditional standpoint, but just okay, let's bring these signs in.
But it's because I like for my tree to be up.
I know some people have it up before Thanksgiving. Even
yeah, some people do it at the beginning of November. I like the weekend after Thanksgiving because Black Friday, and then normally that Saturday, that Sunday, I put up my tree because I feel like that's just a good time.
Yeah.
And then December 1st comes, and that's when 25 Days of Christmas starts. And so I would do that because I love my claymation Christmas movies. I also love some of the new ones that have come out. I love this one movie. It's called Four Christmases. It's got Vince Vaughn in it, and
I feel like I know that.
Reese Witherspoon.
I feel like I know that movie because they were in a relationship, aren't they? They're like married or something.
Yes, they were married.
Yeah,
and they had to split their Christmases between their families, and they hated their families.
Yes,
fucking hilarious. And one that was more recent, Christmas Office Party.
I don't think
is that what it's called?
I don't think I've seen that before.
Fucking hilarious.
When you say Christmas Office Party, all I think about is Horrible Bosses.
I guess because Jennifer Aniston is in both of those.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. I love Jennifer Aniston. but I love Christmas movies. Some of them are like but I always have to watch Nightmare Before Christmas for Halloween and Christmas because it just fits both. And it's a classic. I love it. I love It's a Wonderful World. But everybody's Christmas movie is always A Christmas Story. That's that's the one everybody wants to watch.
I knew of the movie, but I never heard a soul talk about that movie like that until I got with Aaron.
Really?
Never.
Like,
I never.
Not
maybe,
a soul. I don't know. Like growing up, like everybody I knew, Christmas Day, they were watching A Christmas Story. Now me, I didn't have to watch it every Christmas. It is a tradition for a lot of people. But I was more about the claymation stuff. That's the stuff I wanted to watch. You know, I love animation. So I was watching that. I was watching Santa Claus is Coming to Town, The Life and Times of Santa Claus, all of that. I was watching all of that. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty.
I feel like for me, when it comes to the traditions, the reason that it may be ingrained to me to not like it, because like I said, my family was very big on, especially my dad's side of the family was very religious. So Christmas was always the main thing for them.
Yeah.
And my mom's side of the family, it was a big ass family, so Christmas was very overboard for everybody with that too. I think I am very much so a person that I don't really stick to old things. I'm always like, I want the next new thing. I'm always going for that. I mean, I'd be going for it fast, but I'm very much so intrigued with, let's go here. Whereas tradition, you mainly have to be back here for it because you're doing that same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And not that it's a bad thing. I'm just going through the process in my thoughts of like why I would say I don't really care for traditions because my personality is always going to a new thing and not really focusing on what's happened before. There's also a lot of traditions that I feel like don't need to be done anymore, not for Christmas or Thanksgiving, but just like there are a lot of things that people stick to and be like, well, it's tradition to explain bad habits. So like when I forgot, there was one topic that I was going to bring up, not podcast topic, but just something I was going to say about people saying it's tradition, and I always like to tie it back to it, but like slavery was a tradition, killing people was a tradition. Like there are a lot of traditions that I don't really like hearing. It's a tradition, and that makes it. Therefore, it's right.
No, I'm not that way.
That doesn't have anything to do with Christmas or anything like that.
Yeah, that's just in general. I'm somewhat of a traditionalist, as you know me. I'm a very, very standard Southern person for the most part, but. But with me, because I like my Christmas traditions, but I think what makes it different for me is that, for instance, yes, I always want to put my tree up. My tree never looks the same. Yeah. I change it every year. Every single year. I get new ornaments, new everything. I don't have the same colors because now that gets boring, you know? So I do like to switch up. I like to change it. I'm not ever like, oh, this always, because, you know, some people, they have like these things that are passed down throughout the family and like, okay, so we have to always use these ornaments because my great-great-grandma had them. No, they ugly. Throw them away. So I'm a traditionalist. I like to do certain things. Like I like a Christmas tree trimming party if I can get enough people. But the thing is, I don't talk to people, so I don't know. But the thing is, though, about that is just, but I like to do different things. So we can have like a tradition to say, oh, we want to do something for Christmas, but it doesn't always have to be the same thing. Yeah. Like it doesn't always have to be the same food.
When I think about tradition, it's always the same thing. So that's why I'm very, very, what's the word? Reluctant to do anything, not anything, but most things tradition, because when I think of tradition, it's always, let's do the same thing every year. And I'm not,
I can't do that.
Irritating bores me. So, I'm not able to stick with most traditions because I'm always, sometimes to the detriment of myself, trying to do something different.
And I get that. And so that's why I always try to change things for me. And so, even with, because I like to cook for for Christmas, and since I've been on my own, I always cook for Christmas, but it'll be something different. Like I think one Christmas I just cooked a roast. You know, this Christmas I think I want to cook a lasagna. So I mean, I just want to cook something. It doesn't have to be the stereotypical thing.
Next year, I do want to make. I want to go. I don't know if I talked to you about this. I want to go based off of what is it? BA Bon Appetit.
Yeah.
I want to go based on what they did for Thanksgiving and make some of those meals for a Thanksgiving meal.
I mean, that's something that we can kind of double team on.
Yeah, we can double team. Definitely have to double team on that because it's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have to proportionalize it for just us. I mean, I told my mom about it and she said to cook some for her. And I was like, girl.
But you see how much dressing I made? I did not mean to make that much dressing.
I
She
definitely
lasted me 2 weeks.
I definitely want to do that because I feel like I would like to have things like this will be my first time ever cooking Thanksgiving for myself because I just have never cared enough to.
Well, this is the first year I did it, simply because I never had to. My mom always did it, and so I would help her. But I never straight up. I've never in my life have made dressing before. Never cooked a turkey before. The other stuff I've cooked, greens and spaghetti. I know how to cook that. But dressing was something I was like kind of scared to tackle because it just seemed like it would be hard. But I remember when I was telling my brother,
white people shit they had at
let
work.
me tell you, we were at work. Our job made a Christmas dinner for us. That was last Wednesday, and so I'm at the table. Like most of my people that I fuck with in my class when we trained, we all sat at the same table and ate together. It's Scott and Cynthia came and sat with us too, and so we're sitting there, we're eating, and we're talking about like I tasted everything. I got everything.
Bitch, I warned you before you got.
No, I wanted to taste it. I was like, I'm going to taste it. So of course. White people are eating the food.
I literally came up and warned Kimo because my lunch is before his. I get off early, but earlier. I went in there, I got the food that I wanted, and of course, like, I didn't get stuff like gravy because I don't like gravy. And I forget, there was something else I didn't get. But I got my food and I was eating it. Literally, the only thing I liked was the mashed potatoes and the macaroni and cheese. The macaroni and cheese wasn't even that damn good. But after I ate my food, I went and I was like, I need to tell Kimo so we don't get hoped up about this food. So I went and I sat there and told him, like, Kimo, let me give you the rundown of this meal.
You did, and I mean,
I understand wanting to try it for yourself.
I tried it, and I just got everything but the corn. So I don't like corn.
I didn't get corn either. That was the thing I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't like corn, but I got it. I even got the cranberry sauce. Okay, so we're sitting down. Most of the people, well, actually, I don't even think any white people were at that table. I
Besides
thought
Cynthia and Scott.
Well, other than them, but they like came and went.
Yeah.
But they came like after we had assessed the food.
Luckily.
So it was me, Antoinette, Kelly. We were the black people. Everybody else was Hispanic. I thought Dawn was white.
What's her name didn't come there?
Who?
Unique?
No, I don't think Unique was sitting with us. She likes to smoke.
Oh. That explains everything.
Yeah, so everybody else, I guess, that doesn't smoke was sitting with me. I thought Dawn was white, but I had come to learn at that meeting that she wasn't. So, because she looks white. If you meet Dawn and you see her, and she says she knows that she does. Yeah. Like she said, the rest of her family doesn't look like her, but she just looks white. I don't know why.
Your mama was slipping and sliding on something else.
Well, she said her father is white.
Oh.
But the rest of her sisters, they don't look like her. So I was like, oh, okay, because I was like, Dawn, I would have never guessed. But so we were talking about the food, and like, so what did I taste first? I tasted the mashed potatoes first because everybody seems to like the mashed potatoes. The mashed potatoes were good. Yes. And you can tell that they were real potatoes and they were smashed. And I was like, okay, they lumpy. All right. So I was like, okay, these
also a good start here.
Right. So the mashed potatoes were good. Then I was like, okay, these mashed potatoes are good. And then I got a taste of the macaroni. I enjoyed the macaroni. Was it the best? No. But it was good.
Velveeta cheese, so it wasn't gonna be the best.
It was good. And so I was like, at least it's cheesy because you get some of those macaronis that are not, and they be dry. And so at least,
which confuses me because macaroni and cheese typically when people make it, like if they bake it, which like I guess a lot of black people do,
typically it ends up dry.
But the thing is, I don't get that because a lot of macaroni I've had that's been baked to be cheesy as fuck still. So I'm like, I think it's one of those things where black people are so afraid of things being undercooked that they overcook every fucking thing.
Which is very much definitely probably the case. So that was fine. Okay. Then I tasted the turkey, which was not seasoned.
It was not whatsoever.
And so I'm tasting the turkey. I'm like, this tastes like water. Because it tastes like they boiled the turkey in unseasoned water. And it just tasted like the water. It was sitting in. And so I was like, okay, this is not good. And so then we got to the stuffing. And so I was eating the stuffing. I was like,
the moment I saw carrots up in there.
Yeah, there were carrots in the stuffing. And no. And so I'm sitting there eating it. And so we were talking around the table. Of course, the black people were like, no, this is not what black people eat. And so the Hispanic people were like, no, yeah, we don't typically eat it like this. I never had stuffing with carrots in it. And so I was like, well, no. And so Dawn was like, well, what do y'all eat? I was like, well, black people don't eat stuffing. We eat dressing. And there's a distinct difference between stuffing and dressing. And she didn't know. I don't think she had ever heard of dressing before. Yeah. And so I was like telling her, no, dressing is more, I was like, the best way I can say is like almost like a paste.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's
like, it's not crumbly. Like
it's not
bread.
Crumbly. It's like a paste. So they get it all together, they make it moist, and they bake it. And so I was like, it's different. It's not just breadcrumbs. No, yeah, I couldn't eat that. So she was, and so I was like, yeah, and I was trying to explain it to her, and so Aunt Jeanette, who was sitting next to me, she was like, yeah, it's kind of like that, but you know, the biggest thing to take from it is that it's moist. It's not dry like this. And
so he found a way to not make you mad.
Yeah. And so she said, you know, our dressing isn't like that either. I'm pretty sure since she's Hispanic, they probably have like what that guy from Texas on Bon Appetit,
where they had like
it was spicy. Like spicy. I was like, that's probably how they probably make theirs too.
Which I wouldn't be.
I would like to try it. I would like to try it
because I'm very much so somebody that has always said. It only happened because of my stepmother. I despise my stepmother's dressing so much that I never wanted nobody else's. I was like, if these are the roads I'm about to be met with when I step away from my mama's dressing, I don't want no more. Because it was so sagey. When
I made mine, and I was telling my mama, I showed her the picture, and she was like, it turned out good. And I was like, yeah, it's really good. It basically tastes just like my mama's. And she was like, are your roommates going to eat it? And I was like, no, Aaron don't like Thanksgiving food, and Kenny ain't even eating nobody with his mama's dressing. So
like I didn't scared.
I didn't expect you to eat it, so I was like, it's fine because this is how most people are. Because everybody makes their dressing different.
Yeah, and which is why I try not to trash anybody's dressing too much because I'm just like everybody likes their dressing different because I always think it's based off of how you grew up. Yeah. If your mother made it. Most of the time, if your mother made it a certain way, you're prone to liking it that way. Yeah, and it becomes something where it's just like when I don't really like sharing my musical taste because a lot of people are elitist with their food taste. Yeah. They think, I eat it this way, therefore it's better than what you like. Yeah. And I don't really care for that. Like, if I say I like the way my mama makes her dressing, I'm not saying I don't like the way your mama make yours. I'm just saying I don't want to try it. I don't want to test some water, because what if I eat hers and it's so vastly different than what my mama makes, and now I don't like it, and now you got a problem with it. Like,
I wouldn't have cared. I mean, if you wanted to taste it, you definitely could have. But I was like, I wouldn't know if you would have liked it, since you said your mama makes it with Jiffy. Mm-hmm. So that's a drastic taste difference, because Jiffy and regular cornbread tastes nothing alike. So I was like, so I'm sure that would have been a completely different taste. You probably
but I mean, you made cornbread, and I've liked your cornbread. So
I mean, yeah, because I always put a little bit of sugar in my cornbread.
See, that's the thing. I've had some people that make cornbread, and there's like no sweetness in it whatsoever. And so, speaking of, did you? I know you're about to go down the list of what you ate. So go back to it, because I want you to get to the cornbread.
I did try the cornbread. I forgot about it, to be honest. I did try the cornbread.
That was basically bundt cake.
It was like a muffin. Like, it wasn't cornbread. They said, oh, there's some cornbread down on the end. And I got down to the end, I was like, I didn't even know that was cornbread. They didn't say there's cornbread down on the end for me. When I got down there, I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is like some kind of cake thing. I don't want that. Yeah, I'm sure you had different people than me.
So I went over. I mean, Scott and Cynthia were still in there. Was still in there, but I had got
serving?
my plate. Yeah, they were serving.
Oh, they weren't serving when I was there.
Cynthia gave me the mashed potatoes, and Scott gave me The two worst things: the dressing and the.
No, they weren't serving when I
what
went
is
in
it
there.
called? The purple shit.
The cranberry sauce.
The cranberry sauce. He gave me those two things. So he was on my shit list.
He was on your shit. No, they weren't serving. They had just came sat down and ate with us. Well, no, they weren't eating. They were just talking. But no, they weren't serving. Who was serving? People I didn't know. I didn't know them.
How did you feel about the cranberry sauce?
For the most part, it tastes like cranberry sauce.
I could not get down with that cranberry sauce whatsoever.
For the most part, it tastes like cranberry sauce. But the thing is, I couldn't get past the dressing to really taste the cranberry sauce, to be very honest.
Cranberry sauce, that
gravy wasn't seasoned either. Let me add that. They put the gravy on my motherfucking turkey, and I was like, this added nothing to this turkey.
Cynthia tried so hard to put that gravy on my turkey, and I was like, Cynthia, I will slap that ladle out your hand. I done told y'all I don't want this gravy.
See, I was expecting Ghibli gravy when you said gravy. I wasn't expecting brown.
I don't know
gravy.
why. I don't know. Did I say something to make you expect that?
I expected
with these white people.
I expected it because that's what I associate with Thanksgiving. Is Ghibli gravy because that's what they put on turkey.
Yeah.
Not brown gravy.
Clearly not this turkey.
But either way it goes, that gravy was pure water with brown food coloring in it. John, they could have took that gravy from the sewage and called it gravy. And to be very honest, it was just brown water.
Oh, that was terrible.
Like it could have been dishwater. It could have been. I wouldn't believe it.
What else is on there? So mashed potatoes, macaroni,
that was it.
Stuffing, the turkey.
Because I didn't eat the corn. I don't like corn. But that was it. That was all it was.
I think was the cornbread the last thing, or was the cranberry sauce the last thing?
The corn was not the corn. The cornbread was the last thing. Because they had the dressing, the cranberry sauce, and the corn right there, and then they had the cornbread down by the trash cans, and I walked over there. I was like, they should have put it in the trash can. I got it, and I couldn't finish it though. I could not finish it.
I didn't even taste it. When old girl asked me if I wanted hers, because I was like, oh, that's cornbread, and she was like,
the pumpkin pie was good.
I ate the pumpkin pie.
The pumpkin pie was good.
I got pumpkin pie and I got the apple from old girl and from you. I took a bite of the apple pie and I was like, oh, this is fine. But I know Aaron would like it more. So I saved it. I was going to give it to him. But then after I took that bite, I was like, maybe I need to give him another one. So I asked you to give yours. The pumpkin pie, when I ate it, I was like, this don't taste too much different than, because I've never had pumpkin pie. Yeah. It didn't taste too much different from sweet potato pie. To me, at least. It doesn't, no. So I was just like, why change? Why not just eat pumpkin pie? Unless they all don't taste like this.
I don't know. Like some people just like pumpkin pie. Some people like sweet potato pie. But they don't taste that different.
They don't.
But the thing is sweet potatoes. I don't know what a regular pumpkin tastes like, so I can't compare. Yeah. But sweet potatoes are not sweet. So I mean, the only reason it has that taste is because of the sugar they put it in.
And all the
and
what
the
is
cinnamon.
that one girl from what is it? The grandmas taste each other and shit. And she's like, I'm just the cinnamon, the nutmeg.
The nutmeg. Like, it was nothing. None of those pies had cinnamon or nutmeg in it. Let her sell it. So,
and then get to hers and hers was most bitter.
Yeah, nobody cared for hers, and she was swearing hers was gonna win.
And because she put that whatever liquor, a little bit of liquor up in hers.
Yeah,
it's like, girl, I know you think liquor saves everything, but it don't.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
But that pumpkin pie did taste good. The apple pie tasted good as well. It was just something where I tasted it cold, and I never like apple pie cold. It always needs to be hot, so or warmed up. So I was like, I mean, it's fine, but I know Aaron would like it more, so I gave it to him. He said it was good, but I told him you wouldn't have wanted none of that. I mean, you normally don't want Thanksgiving food, but you definitely wouldn't want none of this food.
Yeah, he don't eat none of that stuff anyway. It was not good, and you knew white people made it, and you knew that they never heard of a seasoning before in their life. I know there was not a bit of sage in that dressing. I know there was not a bit of poultry seasoning. I know there wasn't a dash of salt or pepper in there. They just think that the natural flavors from the ingredients are just going to bring it together. No, it doesn't. Most things don't really have a taste unless you season it. It's like chicken, for instance. Chicken tastes like nothing if you don't season it, just like turkey. If you don't season it, Speaking of turkey, my turkey was good as fuck. But I didn't season it though. It came with its own seasoning because I bought one of those oven ready ones. And because I wanted to get
was the seasoning on it good at least? Well, I guess so. You said it was.
God, yes.
So that's the one we're gonna have to get next year.
Yeah, make sure we get that again. I gotta remember. But
one thing I really want, and I was talking to Will about this because his family had fried a turkey, and when I had noticed it late or whatever, and I was like, I've never had fried turkey, and I really want to try it. And he was like, "Oh, you should have told me. I would have swung by and brought you some." And I was like, "Well, sir, I didn't notice it until now, so I'm sure that's all gone. Your family is big."
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I may try to get some at some point because I've never had a fried turkey, and the whole thought process of it, I'm just like, I don't really care for turkey on Thanksgiving, which is odd because you know me, I like turkey. That's like pretty the main meat
a lot of
source
people don't like Thanksgiving turkey because everybody's excuse is that it's dry.
I mean, if your family know how to cook.
If y'all know how to cook, it's not. Mine was not. But the thing is, I don't particularly eat turkey by itself. The way we cook it is we cook it in the dressing. So I don't know.
My mom does that. My grandmother does not. So, I know if you hear this, I'm sorry. My mama doesn't make it dry. My grandmother does. Every time I know if I eat that, the moment I cut into that turkey, I know if my grandma or my mama made it.
Oh my God.
Like, well, I know I'm about to drown this in some hot sauce.
What I don't care for is that people do, for Christmas and Thanksgiving, my family love to do a ham. And a lot of people in my family,
they do ham too.
They do a ham. I love my mama's ham because it tastes like ham. A lot of people like to do like a glaze.
Yes, that's what they do. They do a glaze.
I don't like a glaze
because
they make it sweet.
It makes it very sweet.
And I don't like that. My mama cooks it. It's so good. And
does she just make it like normal?
Just a normal, regular ham. No glaze.
Where did the glazing come from? Did somebody think that this made it festive?
I guess it did. I don't know.
And then my aunts love to put pineapples on top of it.
Yes, they like to do that too.
And I'm just like, who thought this up?
I don't like sweet meat.
I just don't like ham. So regardless if it's glazed or not, I probably would eat it.
The
I
only
just
time
don't like
I
ham
eat pork
or pork. Yeah.
The only time I eat pork is for Thanksgiving or Christmas when my mama cooks the ham because her ham is so good. And I'm the weird person. I like the more like burnt parts of the ham. Like I'll go and I'll look for those parts. I can't imagine
the taste of anything burnt being good.
Well, it's not burnt. I guess blackened.
Yeah.
Blackened. It just has a smokier flavor, and I'd be like, yes, because I love grilled food.
Yeah.
My parents grill a lot, and when I go home, I make sure that my mama grills because they grill, and I love a grilled burger. And I don't know if you had a grilled burger.
I've had several grilled burgers, and I don't like them. I don't like grilled flavored. I don't like that charcoal taste.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
I am very opposed to anything even close to tasting burger. Like blackened does not appeal to me. Like I don't like that what'd you say, that smoky flavor? The smoky flavor does not appeal to my palate.
Oh, I love a grilled burger so much. I love a grilled burger. I don't really eat pork chops often, but if you grill that bitch, I will eat it.
Now, the only thing I'll take that's grilled are ribs.
Yeah.
I'll dig into a rib, bitch. I don't care what you do to it. Well, I care what you do to it.
Please care.
I'll do it, like, when it comes to grilling, that's the only thing I look forward to. I don't look forward to, like, the links. I don't look forward to the chicken wings. I don't look forward to anything else.
If when I go home and I can bring you and get my parents to fucking grill some ribs and for you to have some because
I'll take that.
They are so good.
Just don't bring that nose to me.
Where I tell you, because they make their own barbecue sauce. They do it all themselves. You know, people buy theirs. My parents make theirs. They do some beer thing. I don't know. I've never made it, but they do it all, and it's so good. Like when I talk, because you know, we being from Memphis, the first people have to ask me is about the barbecue because this is what we're known for. And I was like, the barbecue places are good, but I love homemade barbecue because that's what I'm used to getting. I don't really too much go to barbecue places and get their barbecue. When June and July come around, my parents, they go and spend a good $200-$300 on wieners, franks or whatever, and burger meats, pork chops, chicken, and ribs. and they cook up a whole slew of it to last for about 2 weeks.
See, growing up, when people were grilling and stuff, the only thing I would ever gravitate towards is the what is it called? The egg salad? Not egg salad.
Oh, potato salad.
The potato salad.
Yeah.
My plate would always consist of a shit ton of potato salad and a big old thing of ribs. That's all I ever wanted. People be like, you don't want this burger? No. Keep your burnt ass burger to yourself. I don't want them dried up, wrinkly ass links. I don't want them chicken wings. Yeah. I don't want, like, it doesn't, I mean, it may taste good. I don't know why the smoky flavor on ribs doesn't, not disgust me, because I don't say it's disgusting. It's not like if I ate it, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't spit it out. But I just don't, it doesn't appeal to me. But for some reason, it doesn't matter when it's on ribs. I mean, now if you burn the bitch, I'm going to be mad. No, but the smoky flavor on it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, now I love a rib tip. That's typically what I gravitate towards because they have
all the meat.
It has the meat. Of course, you get a rib, it's mostly bone. I mean, you mostly just licking on that bone. There's not much meat there.
That's what I mean is the rib tips.
Yeah.
But I just say ribs all the time. But rib tips, when I say ribs, anybody hearing this, if I say ribs, don't ever assume that I'm talking about just regular ribs. I'm not eating ribs to be sucking on bone. I want this meat.
I mean, one thing about Southerners, they love to suck on the bone.
No, get this bone away from
I
me.
don't suck on bones. That's not my thing.
Chewing on gristle.
Yeah, that's my grandfather. My grandfather loves neck bones. I know a lot of people from the South don't really eat neck bones, but he loves a neck bone. And so my grandma, his plate is, he has his own plate, and his only one is like this big. And she would fill it with neck bones and whatever she cooked with it. So if you just have, my grandfather never ate with us. He was always in his room. You rarely saw him. So he would be in his room. My grandma would bring his plate, but the door is always open. They never close their door, even when they're having sex.
Oh God.
It's just telling the truth. So they might think nobody knows. So you'll walk by his room and you would just hear him sucking on them bones. And I'll be like, Granddaddy, close the door. Lord Jesus. Like, my granddaddy typically don't eat all his food, but if he got some neck bones, he gonna suck all the meats and gristle and marrow out of the motherfucking bones.
That is so fucking disgusting. I just don't want to hear that.
Well, it is a Southern thing. I definitely say. I don't know. I'm from the South, so I expect to typically, like, when I talk to people that are not from the South and I talk about things that we do, they seem to not participate in that. So I just assume that a lot of the things that I grew up with is just something that's from the South. But it's hilarious.
Sucking on neck bones, that's because I think a lot of people from Chicago either have family or migrated from the South. So a lot of the Southern aspects happen in Chicago as well. But I don't know anybody in my family that likes neck bones aside from my mother. She's the only person I know that likes neck bones.
Neck bones are okay. I'm more of a fan of turkey necks. But
I don't want nobody neck.
Neck bones are good, but they don't have a lot of meat on them. Like, just to be honest.
I would assume not with it just being called the bone. It's not called neck fat or neck meat.
But turkey necks have more meat. I mean, it's kind of like, because turkey necks are more like long like this, and then a neck bone's like a big square block.
Is it? I've never seen it. I just know
really.
Blood.
Yeah, it's like honestly like a big square block. Like you could stack them up, and so which a turkey neck is like long and
Where's
cylinder.
the neck bone coming from?
A pig.
Oh, okay. I never knew what meat it was. I just always knew it was a bone of somebody.
Most of the stuff, most of the foods that people in the South eat is pork. I'm gonna let you know, especially in the country, they eat the neck bone, they eat the pig tail, they eat the pig foot, they eat. I'm sure you've seen like a pickled pig head.
I've never seen a pickled pig head. I've seen pickled just about every other piece of a pig though.
Yeah, you've definitely. My cousin Chomp. We would go to the Piggly Wiggly, and she would go and she would get a pickled pig foot. And I've never had a pickled pig foot, but just to see the way people eat them, because she'll just reach up in there and get it out and just eat it.
You don't prepare it anyway?
No, you just eat it right out of the jar.
Oh my God.
And I don't know how they prepare it exactly.
Is it clean?
Well, I mean, it's preserved, so it has to be clean. It's just like any other preserves. But I'm just like,
I can't fathom it.
I couldn't expect it to be good. But I'm also, a lot of people from the South, just eat straight up. Like, I remember getting out of school, and you know, when you leave school, they open up a candy stand before you can get on the bus. Mm-hmm. Did they do that at your school?
They didn't have it at school, but everybody on our block had, or not everybody, some people on our block always sold candy or chips or ices.
Well, my school, it was just like right, because you would get like 10 to 15 minutes before the bus leaves. Mm-hmm. So right when you get ready, you go and you go to the candy stand on the way out. And so a lot of people, they would go and get a pickle, and they be on the bus
slurping on that damn pickle.
Slurping on pickles. And I like pickles, but I really only eat them on burgers. Mm-hmm. I don't just eat a pickle, you know.
I don't eat pickles like that. My sister Danielle always eats pickles like that. I remember vividly when we were younger.
Or does she eat like the Kool-Aid pickle?
I don't think I've ever seen her put Kool-Aid on the pickle. I've seen people do that.
You know that's a thing, yeah.
I've seen people do that. It's very disgusting looking, but I've only ever seen her, like, she loves to just get a dill pickle and just have at it. Me, when I get a pickle, I only like pickles like Vlasic pickles because they have a sweeter taste to them. And I'll just take a fork into the jar and eat the pickles out of there. Yeah. But how big they are and how wide you're gonna open your mouth and chomp through this thick ass thing.
Yeah, because they come in like these little plastic bags, and it's got all the juice.
And then
you
got this juice dripping all down your face.
Yeah, it's got all the juice in there, and they eat the pickle, and then they drink the juice. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, disgusting. And I'm over here with my Skittles. Now and later, child, no, I could not. I could never. No.
But we've gone on our tangent.
We have.
For the holidays. We're going to have to do another tangent when we record before Christmas because I want to make that one a very Christmas episode, even more than we did on this one.
What does that entail?
I don't know.
I was like, do you have a plan?
Figure it out before it happened.
Okay.
But I just want you to know that I want it to be a very Christmassy episode.
I mean, it's fine.
I'm sure we can find topics and things to talk about that involve Christmas or something like that. Even if it has to be more Christmas trivia, whatever it is. I didn't mind because
there was, I wouldn't mind doing that. A lot of those things that I found, I did not know about Christmas. I thought they were very interesting. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know that Coca-Cola was responsible for Santa that we know today.
Yeah.
So, and I know that when sometimes you'll see Saint Nick, because that's, I guess, who Santa is based off of, he looks completely different. Yeah. So, and he does look very stern typically when you see him.
He's not fat, though.
He's not fat,
yeah,
no.
I remember. I think I've seen pictures of him before. Because I remember it was in either a movie or a documentary or something talking about Christmas. And I remember... I remember the parts where they were talking about Saint Nick before he randomly became Santa Claus. Yeah. But we will see you guys on next week. What do we do? What's next week? Is next week Christmas?
Next week is Christmas.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure because one of the girls on my team was saying how she was going to be getting a new job. And she said she didn't want to work on Christmas and New Year, so she was going to be leaving. So last Friday...
We're not working on Christmas or New Year's. So
no, like she doesn't want to work that week. Like, any of them days. So she was like, she's just going to leave, and then she'll just wait for her new job to start in January. Which I thought was very stupid, but go off. She was talking about it, and like last Friday, I was like, oh, so it's your last day, or are you going to be... is today your last day or are you going to just work through the holidays? And she was like, no. I was like, oh, I thought you were leaving for the other job and thought you didn't work for Christmas. She's like, Christmas is like 2 weeks. I was like, oh, girl, I am so sorry. I'm jumping ahead.
To be honest, last week I thought Christmas was going to be this week too. This week coming up. Mm-hmm. I thought it was this week also. I think what threw me off was the Christmas dinner.
I think that may have been what it was for me.
Yeah, because I thought, I was like, okay, Christmas is next week, and they didn't want to do it because they're doing it on a Wednesday, and Christmas is on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, no.
No, they're just being early as fuck for no reason.
I didn't understand.
But that's also the same girl that shit herself. Anyway, have a good night.
Bye.